Hey guys, this is a video on the Godfather Trilogy. Now I've reviewed part 3, and I think I reviewed the first movie, but I don't think I've ever done a review on the second movie. This video is mainly going to be about me actually describing the box set that I own, and then just kind of my thoughts and opinions on each film. So it's not necessarily going to be a review, it's just going to be my thoughts. First thing is the box set itself. Now, I own the DVD version, which should not surprise you at all. This is the Coppola restoration. This is the best box set of The Godfather that's ever been released. There have been, excluding the Blu-ray one, there's been, I think, maybe 2 other DVD ones. And even the last one wasn't completely restored. This is the complete restored editions of The Godfather. The Blu-ray editions, I mean, yeah, they probably look a bit better, maybe, but I wasn't willing to spend like 40 extra bucks at the time for the Blu-ray set. But the Godfather set, I mean, it looks really handsome, I might add. You know, it says The Godfather, the Coppola restoration on the spine, and it says it on the back here, and it's got a little gloss thing on the bottom here. Out of all the box sets that I own, this one is probably my favorite. But they come in the little snap cases here. And I'll talk about each film. Each film has been restored, excluding, I guess the third movie wasn't terribly restored that much. I'll get to that one in a minute. Now, each disc says the Coppola restoration, meaning that each film has been tinted a different color, because I don't know why they did that. They all have like a, I want to say kind of like a reddish hue to it. You know, it's not color, there's a hue to it, like kind of maybe sepia or something, I don't know. But The Godfather, you know, so you have single disc here, single case. Each movie has a director's commentary by Francis Ford Coppola. And everybody knows what The Godfather is about. First time I actually attempted to watch The Godfather, I have to admit, I really didn't like it that much. But the first time I saw it, I tried to watch it. I think I was like 11 or 12. And, I mean, I had heard about it a lot, so that's why I wanted to watch it. But I just couldn't get past, like, the first party scene. But when I finally, I actually got a set for my brother. And I ended up giving that away, and I got the better set here. And I watched them all, and the first movie really surprised me. I mean, for a 3-hour movie, those 3 hours go by pretty damn fast. Godfather is I would put The Godfather in my top 5 movies ever. Maybe a top 3. That's a big maybe. What I like about this movie is I've read the book, and this movie follows. This is like one of the few movies that follows the book. Although the movie is famous and not the book. Very few people have actually read the book. And I love Marlon Brando, and I loved Marlon Brando in this movie and Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront. He's a great actor. Al Pacino, I'll get to Al Pacino in the second movie. James Caan, I love James Caan's character. He always makes me smile. But definitely the best one out of the trilogy. And then we come to the second movie, regarded as the best sequel of all time. I do not. To be honest, out of the whole trilogy, part 2 might actually be my least favorite. And before you get mad at me, let me explain why. Now, this movie is made a lot like Once Upon a Time in America. If you've ever seen that movie, it's a Sergio Leone film, where the beginning of the movie takes place in present day, but the bulk of the movie is about Vito Corleone's childhood, Don Corleone from the first movie. And Al Pacino is Don Corleone, Michael Corleone. He's a lot more brutal of a Don than his father was. I really honestly do not like Michael Corleone in this movie. But I love Robert De Niro. He is great as the young Vito Corleone. This one is the longest out of the trilogy. This one is like 3 hours and 20 minutes long. And I mean, it's not terrible, don't get me wrong. There's just moments where I kind of find it a bit boring. You know, I mean, I haven't seen it all the way through in probably a year and a half, but from what I remember, I've only seen this all the way through like 2 or 3 times. From what I remember, I just did not really enjoy it as much as the first movie. I mean, I really don't, nothing could have topped the original Godfather. While this is a great movie, I don't think it's better than The Godfather, and I don't think this is the best sequel ever made. It's a good add-on, but I don't think it's the best sequel. And then we come to the third movie. Now, this movie has garnered so much hate, you know, because Francis Ford Coppola returned to The Godfather, what was it? I think Part 2 came out in 1974, this came out in 1990. So, this movie is considered as an epilogue, not necessarily a Part 3, but an epilogue. He actually wanted to call this movie The Godfather, The Death of Michael Corleone. Now, when I first saw The Godfather Part 3, I remember thinking to myself, why do people hate this one? For a while, I have to be brutally honest, this movie was actually my favorite Godfather. It's a very different feel to it. The movie is about Michael Corleone. It takes place in 1979. Michael Corleone is aged. He's way past his prime. This movie is basically about him kind of repenting his sins, coming clean, and kind of repenting his sins. And also, he feels guilty from stuff that he did from Part 2. Sofia Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, plays Michael Corleone's daughter. And this movie, the main criticism that I get about this movie is Al Pacino's overacting and Sofia Coppola's just acting, period. Originally, Winona Ryder was going to play the part, but she backed out and ended up working with Coppola on Dracula. I think Winona Ryder would have been better. I like Winona Ryder. Sofia Coppola is famous for directing now. She's not really that famous for an actress anymore. But this movie, this is the only movie I've ever seen her act in. I mean, if this is the only movie she acted in, I'm not sure. But yeah, Al Pacino does overact quite a few times in this movie, especially the ending at the Paris Opera House steps, and there's a part where he's having I think it's a stroke, and he does some pretty weird shit in that scene, but he does some pretty over-the-top stuff in this movie, so that's why I think people don't like it as much. It's definitely not as classic, but all three were written by Mario Puzo, the writer of the novel, and Francis Ford Coppola. This movie was kind of led us to believe that there was going to be a Part 4. But Mario Puzo died after this movie came out. I think it was a couple years later. And Francis Ford Coppola said, without Mario Puzo, there was going to be no Part 4 that would involve him. But there probably will be another Godfather movie sometime soon. Part 4 would have dealt with Vincent as the new Don. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Michael Corleone dies in this movie, and Vincent takes over the family. Vincent was Sonny's son, illegitimate son, and Part 4 probably would have been about his reign on the family, but without Al Pacino, you know, it probably would have sucked. I imagine Talia Shire and Diane Keaton would have came back, but, I mean, come on, at least without Al Pacino, you know, it's just not going to be as good as the others. But definitely underrated. Don't diss this movie, you know, before you see it. Now, along with my box set, it came with a bonus features disc. Has 2 discs. Now, one disc has bonus features that came with the original Godfather box set. The other disc is bonus features for this box set, the new box set. And I haven't watched a whole lot of them because there's so many of them. There's a Making of the Godfather documentary. There's a but documentaries on saving the Godfather films. There's a historical timeline, filming locations, additional scenes, but, you know, it's not terribly important stuff, but I do want to get around to watching this stuff sometime, but yeah, bonus features. Now, The Godfather is one of the best trilogies out there. Each movie has its own charm, and I just really think that, especially when you're going to watch Part 3, don't go into it thinking that all of them are going to be amazing. Part 1's amazing, Part 2 is good, Part 3 is a great epilogue. While it may not be the best one out of the trilogy, it definitely puts an end to the trilogy. It definitely seals the deal. But if you've never seen The Godfather, shame on you, because it's just a riveting movie. It is just so riveting. This movie and Goodfellas, and really just The Godfather and Goodfellas, I think, are the best gangster movies. Scarface was good, yeah, but, you know, it was okay. And then along with Casino and The Departed was really good as well. But yeah, The Godfather Trilogy. Definitely Coppola's best films right here, along with Apocalypse Now and Dracula. But if you want to buy the box set, like when I bought this, I only bought this for like, I think 25 or 30 bucks, and it was brand new. If you can find this like on Amazon or even in the store, I'm sure it's pretty cheap now. But if you have succumbed to the Blu-ray disease, then you can get the Blu-ray box set. The Blu-ray contains exactly the same things as this does, only higher quality. But the DVDs still look amazing. If you would compare these DVDs to the previous release, there is a noticeable difference. I am happy with this. But yeah, this is kind of my little talk about the Godfather Trilogy, and thanks for watching.